She's back! Rory Harmon makes her season debut as Texas women's basketball pulverizes Princeton. Texas football's Big 12 championship bid comes up short, but with bowl season upon us, will Bijan Robinson and others buckle up for one last ride? And amidst a number of World Cup upsets, do we believe Team USA will win Tuesday's winner-take-all match against Iran? All this and more on College Press Box. Good evening and happy holidays from us here to you at Texas Student Television. My name is Jason Kinander, welcoming you all into this week's episode of College Press Box. We have a great show for you this evening, so let's get right into it. Texas women's basketball returned home this week from a Bahamas trip that was much less enjoyable than your average tropical vacation. The Longhorns went 1-2, arriving back in Austin with vengeance on their minds. Between the honoring of an all-time great and the return of Rory Harmon, home has never felt so good for Texas women's basketball. Let's send it over to the Moody Center to recap Sunday's matinee. Before the game, Texas retired the number of Annette Smith-Knight. Smith-Knight's number 15 hanging up in the rafters. She is the all-time leading scorer for the Longhorns. Now to game action. Texas getting a quick start. Rory Harmon finding Aaliyah Moore, who does the rest, and one to put the Longhorns up 5-0 in the early going. Harmon back in the game again. Great ball movement here, though, by the Longhorns. Here's Moore finding her way to the front of the basket for an open look and finish yet again. The ball movement wouldn't stop there. Here is Shea Holly with the smooth assist. She finds Sonya Morris, who hits the corner triple. That would close the first half for Texas, entering the locker room with a lead. Here's Harmon making her presence known, and one on the smooth jumper. Another and one here for Texas. Here is the layup miss. Rebound Taylor Jones. She does the dirty work, and the foul. Texas running the court. They're up 15. Deanna Gaston now her turn inside. Boom, strong finish, Texas up 19. Sonya Morris, she was not done with her work from three just yet. Shaylee Gonzalez finds her in the corner. Here is Amina Muhammad now, icing on the cake. Morris said, I've done enough shooting for tonight. Here is an assist. Longhorns over Princeton by the score of 75-50. Well, I'm lucky to be joined now by our women's basketball analyst, Edly Termilien. Edly, how was your Thanksgiving weekend?
It was great. It was fine. Dad had COVID, but stayed safe, so.
Okay, Texas women's basketball. Let's talk about the Longhorns. They were shorthanded. This is a team that usually performs well in a tournament setting. Why did Texas struggle so mightily in Atlantis?
Well, the Longhorns, they were not healthy. Taylor Jones was still having that shoulder issue. Shaylee Gonzalez still had that brace on. This team was just limited. It feels like this was a test for Vic Schaefer. How can he make a game plan without his superstar, Rory Harmon? Many feel like he depended on her. She was more on the spotlight, but this was a struggle for the team, and this is what they needed. They needed go through some adversity, for people to step up, such as Aaliyah Moore, newcomers like Taylor Jones and Shaylee Gonzalez.
Yeah, Taylor Jones and Shaylee Gonzalez showed out well in that Princeton game, but Texas women's basketball did get a big boost with, as you said, Rory Harmon's return. What does the return of the sophomore All-American mean for Texas?
It means everything to this team. Rory did not miss a beat yesterday on that court. She had 11 points, even though she was not the leading scorer, which is okay. It's her season debut. I don't expect a lot from her now, but she's going to get there. She's going to do her thing. But here's the thing about Miss Rory Harmon. Rory brings the energy, and this was a different Texas team last night. You can tell they're having fun, and that's what they missed with this tournament. You can tell on their faces they play with a passion. You can tell that she is a voice in that locker room and on the court. She did not disappoint, and this is what basketball is all about: winning games and having fun.
Winning games and having fun. That is an excellent way to put it. A lot more fun to be had and a lot more games to be won before conference play begins in January. So how can Texas bounce back and still build a strong tournament resume leading into January?
Well, Texas has a moderate road. It's not really easy before heading to the Big 12 matchups. They have Southern, Alabama State, Jackson State, Houston Christian, and Texas A&M Commerce this month, but which should be easy wins. I expect newcomers Jacqueline Miguagwe, Keandre Faye, and Sonya Morris to get some reps during these games. They have South Florida later this week, who beat them back in 2016. But new day, new year, new team. South Florida has not played really well with ranked teams, so I expect Texas to win by 4 to 8 points. But their toughest matchup, other than UConn and Louisville, is USC. They have not lost a game yet, and most of their games have been blowouts. So Texas needs to look for is the leading scorers Destiny Littleton and Keandre Esoko. If Texas can take care of business, they'll be ready for the Big 12 and March Madness.
Completely agree with that, Edly. We look forward to Big 12 conference play. We look forward to March Madness. Thank you, as always, for coming on with that analysis. When we come back to College Press Box, Ryan Swantkowski is in studio to talk a little Texas football after the Longhorns wrapped up the regular season this weekend. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into College Press Box. Texas football came into Thanksgiving weekend needing two things to fall their way in order to receive a Big 12 championship game bid: a win over Baylor and a Kansas win over Kansas State. It was a bittersweet Black Friday at Darrell K. Royal Stadium, but despite Senior Day festivities, Texas just needed to win. If they could pull off the win, Texas's championship hopes would then be in the hands of the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday night in Manhattan. Here's how the weekend played out. Beginning in Austin, first drive for Texas of the game. Here's Quinn Ewers with an intentional grounding from the end zone. That is a 2-point safety, an ominous start to Texas's Black Friday match against Baylor. Now, here's an even more ominous start. Blake Shapen down the middle to a wide open Jalen Ellis, uncovered, untouched, end zone, 9-0 Baylor Bears. But Texas wouldn't go down without a fight. Here's Quinn Ewers. Didn't do it with the legs often this year, but for good measure, he does it on the last day of the season, rushing touchdown to cut it to a 1-score deficit. Next possession, Texas back in the red zone. We'll never get tired of this. Bijan Robinson into the end zone. Texas takes the lead over Baylor. Now here is Shapen over the middle. End of the first half, he finds Sims for a touchdown. Baylor would take that lead into the halftime tunnel. Not great for Texas, but they would actually perform better in the second half than usual. Not here though. Quinn Ewers with a fumble. That is going to be scooped up by Baylor. The Bears are going to run it into the end zone. Things look just about lost and in the dirt. Everyone's thinking Texas's championship hopes are done. But Texas would come back. Roschon Johnson and Bijan Robinson touchdowns would give the Longhorns the lead. Here's a timely interception from Jalen Ford. Big season for the junior linebacker. Texas would go on to win 38-27, sealing Senior Day for a number of key contributors for this Longhorns team. But that was not it for Texas football this weekend. We head down to Manhattan, 7-0 K-State early. The Kansas Jayhawks, they were Texas's worst enemy at the end of last season, but they put up a fight here. Not on this play, though. Here's Will Howard wide open over the middle to Sammy Wheeler, 42-yard touchdown. Devin Neal says not so fast. He scampers in for the first of 2 scores. Kansas's offense moved fast. Their defense didn't move at all. Luke Grimm with a 33-yard catch. Now Neal scampering into the end zone for his second touchdown of the day. Kansas would try their best, but they could not contain Deuce Vaughn. The Wildcats' star running back, 230 all-purpose yards. Too much to contain, and now here was the icing on top for Kansas State. DJ Giddens with the 4-yard touchdown run. The Wildcats win the game and win the Big 12. I'd now like to welcome in our football analyst, Ryan Swantkowski. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely, Jason. Always a pleasure to be here, man.
Well, the Longhorns aren't heading to the Big 12 championship, but they took care of their own business, defeating Baylor 38-27. What was the key to the final win of the regular season for Texas?
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. The key to the Longhorns' success on Saturday had to be the two-headed monster in Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson. Everyone knows that Bijan Robinson is the Longhorns' best player, if not the best in the nation, and he proved that yet again with over 175 yards and 2 touchdowns on Friday. Roshan Johnson had himself 2 touchdowns, including the dagger to put Baylor down 11 like you just went over. These 2 players have been the heart and soul of this Longhorn team all season long, and it's only fitting that they both had tremendous games and what very well could be their last games in DKR Stadium, as Roshan is graduating and Bijan will most likely opt to go in the NFL draft.
So you talk about those players that will likely go to the NFL draft, but there seems to be a lot of questions circling with Texas football. Quinn Ewers is struggling. Xavier Worthy might be hitting the portal. What do you make of all the noise surrounding the program heading into the offseason?
Yeah, absolutely. So 5-star quarterback Quinn Ewers has been struggling this season, and especially in Longhorn's past few games, as he hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in 4 straight and has thrown for only 3 touchdowns along with 2 picks in that span. Ewers, who transferred from Ohio State this past offseason, has at this point only played 6 complete college football games. The kid is talented, don't get me wrong, but young and inexperienced. So while he isn't performing as expected recently, I feel that he needs another year in the UT system to get his feet underneath him. With Worthy, he deleted all things Texas from his social media, which seems to be a big trend nowadays with all these professional athletes, apparently. Although there are rumors he will leave Texas, I'm just going to say Longhorn fans will have to wait and see what happens with their star wide receiver.
Wait and see. That's the best advice when it comes to the situation regarding Xavier Worthy. But Texas finished the regular season at 8-4. Now, unlike last year, it's bowl season for the Longhorns. So what bowl game can Longhorns fans expect to watch their team in?
Yeah, absolutely. So although it's not known for sure yet, the Longhorns are rumored to be headed to either the Cheez-It Bowl or the Alamo Bowl, with the Alamo Bowl being the very heavy favorite here, Jason. So the Longhorns aren't expected to make a New Year's Six Bowl, as some are being used for the college football playoff, like the Fiesta Bowl and so on like that. So a lot depends on the winner of the Big 12 championship game and other things of that matter. But the Alamo Bowl gets the first pick of the remaining bowl-eligible Big 12 teams, which will most likely be Texas, as TCU and Kansas State will both be in the New Year's Six Bowls, as I previously mentioned. Texas is 3rd in the Big 12 rankings, so that should likely land them in San Antonio in the Alamo Bowl, but a few things are indeed still up in the air to be determined, Jason.
Not a bad consolation prize for Texas. 5-7 a year ago, likely trip to the Alamo Bowl this year. Ryan, thank you so much, as always, for joining us. When we return, Tyler Moss will recap all the top moments from the opening round of the World Cup. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Welcome back into College Press Box. Every year, the focus of the sports world come Thanksgiving week is football, and this year is no different, albeit with a different type of football. The eyes of the entire world have been fixated across the pond, where the group stage of the 2022 World Cup began in Qatar last week. Our own Tyler Moss is here in studio to recap the action. Tyler?
Well, the World Cup as of Monday is 2/3 through the group stage, so some of the groups have shaken up a bit differently than we thought. Let's take a look through the standings and most likely way for some teams to advance. In Group A, Netherlands sits atop the group with 4 points and a dead even tie with Ecuador. Senegal follows them with 3 points, and Qatar has been eliminated from contention with 0 points. Senegal can advance with a win against Ecuador in their last match. In Group B, England is in first place with 4 points, Iran sits in second place with 3, and the United States and Wales follow with 2 points and 1 point respectively. The U.S. team can jump into one of those top spots with a win against Iran in their last match, and Wales can do so with a win against England by 3 or more goals to make up for that goal differential. Group C has Poland on top with 4 points, Argentina and Saudi Arabia both at 3, with Saudi Arabia upsetting Argentina in their first match, and Mexico at the bottom of the group with 1 point. Saudi Arabia can claim one of the top spots with a win against Mexico, and Mexico can jump in with a win against Saudi Arabia, and Poland defeating Argentina. Group D has the defending champions France at the top with 6 points, as well as becoming the first team to guarantee a spot in the round of 16. Australia follows them with 3 points, and Denmark and Tunisia round off the group with 1 point each. Denmark can advance with a win against Australia, and Tunisia's best bet would be a win against France with a draw in the Australia-Denmark game. Group E is one of the stronger groups in the tournament, with Spain in first at 4 points, Japan in second with 3, Costa Rica with 3, and Germany with 1 point after being upset by Japan in the first game. Costa Rica can advance with a win against Germany, and Germany can advance with a win and a Japan loss. Group F has Croatia and Morocco both with 4 points, Belgium with 3, and Canada eliminated from contention with 0. Belgium can advance with a win against Croatia, and that's all they need to do to advance. Group G has Brazil in front with 6 points and a spot in the round of 16 guaranteed. Switzerland with 3 points and Cameroon and Serbia both with 1 point. Serbia can advance with a win and a Cameroon loss or draw, and Cameroon can advance with a win by 2 goals and a Switzerland draw, or a win and a Switzerland loss with only 1 goal difference. Group H has Portugal on top with 6 points and a spot in the round of 16, Ghana behind them with 3, and South Korea and Uruguay with 1 each. Uruguay can advance with a win and a Ghana loss, while South Korea can advance with a win and a goal difference greater than Uruguay, who South Korea also needs them to win their game in order to still advance. All in all, what has been dubbed the World Cup of Surprises has lived up to its name, giving the November-December sports scene some additional life. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the tournament plays out and who will be crowned the world champion.
Thank you very much for that, Tyler. Certainly looking forward to see who comes out the world champion in Qatar. So when we return, we will recap the last week in Texas sports, and I promise you it has been a busy one. You won't want to miss it. We'll be back after this. Welcome back in once again to College Press Box. Well, it has been a very busy past couple of weeks for Texas men's basketball, as over the weekend, it was a busy holiday weekend for Texas men's basketball, who played in the second annual Gregory Gymnasium game this year, dubbed the Leon Black Classic. The Longhorns took on Rio Grande Valley and won big, with Texas's backcourt trio of Marcus Carr, Tyrese Hunter, and Serge Abari Rice totaling the same number of points, 54, as their opponent. The Longhorns are now 5-0, ranked second in Monday's AP poll, and will welcome in 7th-ranked Creighton to the Moody Center on Thursday, with a chance to claim the #1 ranking in the country. Texas women's volleyball finished its regular season on a high note with a win over West Virginia in straight sets. Logan Eggleston, Molly Phillips, and Asia O'Neal led the Longhorns with 8 kills apiece. As a bonus, O'Neal, who is one of the veteran leaders in this Longhorn team, announced last week that she will be returning next season for her 5th and final season of college eligibility. The good news, though, would not stop there for Texas volleyball, as the Longhorns were selected as the #1 overall seed in the 2022 NCAA Championship. This is the second time in school history where Texas will enter the tournament as the top seed. The Longhorns will now host their first-round matchup, a duel against Farley Dickinson, on Thursday. Class of 2023 Hall of Fame former Texas Director of Women's Athletics Donna Lopiano has been inducted to that class as a part of the class of 2023. Lopiano was the Director of Women's Athletics from 1975 to 1992. During that span, Texas won 18 national championships in women's sports. From there, Lopiano served as a CEO of the Women's Sports Foundation until 2007, when she was named one of the 10 most powerful women in sports by Fox Sports. It's time to take a look ahead at this week in Longhorn sports, and it is a big week in that. On Thursday, top-seeded Texas volleyball will set off in its championship chase, playing host to Farley Dickinson on Thursday in the first round of the 2022 NCAA Championship. That match will begin at 7 p.m. and can be seen on Longhorn Network. Texas volleyball's Friday match will be determined by the outcome of this matchup, with opponents and start times being announced upon conclusion of those matches. On Thursday, across campus about an hour earlier, second-ranked Texas men's basketball will face off against #7 Creighton. That is in the Big 12 Big East Challenge, as I said, 6 p.m. on ESPN. And finally, Texas women's basketball will host a pair of games at the Moody Center this week, the first being on Friday at 6 p.m. against South Florida, and the second on Sunday against Southern at 2 p.m. Both games will be televised by Longhorn Network. That'll wrap things up for this week's episode of College Press Box. Please be sure to tune into our other shows this week, including College Crossfire, hosted by Tommy Yarish on Wednesday, and the 1-0 Sports Show on Friday. Thank you very much to our analysts, everyone in Master Control, our wonderful executive producer, Samantha Pearl, and everyone else at TSTV. Happy holidays from me. I'm Jason Kinander. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.